Hello and welcome to another episode here on my channel. My name is ChaosMole and today I want to talk about why Skull and Bones can actually still become a really good game and not everything is lost. Now, I know what you think immediately. Have you seen the same footage as I did, Mo? Yes, I have, and it is rough. But what I also did, because I saw the footage of Skull and Bones, I did reinstall Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, which you're seeing me here playing in the background. And man, I did get back to the game because I wanted to see if the game is still holding up. Because, you know, we always have those rose-tinted glasses where we remember a game fondly, then we're coming back to it and we are like, oh boy, oh my stars, oh this is not, oh this doesn't really bode well. Like, we remember things very fondly and then they're not really that great. So I did go back to Black Flag, and lo and behold, it is still a damn good game. Like the controls, the interface, the upgrades, the sailing, the Assassin's Creed part, like everything still holds up till today. The graphics still look pretty decent, especially when you are playing on 4K, and like everything is just still there, and it feels good. It really feels good. So that's something positive. But what I did notice, and this brings us back immediately to Skull and Bones, is that I saw some critic points for Skull and Bones in comparison to Black Flag, and I think some people remember that wrongly. So the first thing I want to talk about is the ship combat, the controls. And I saw a lot of people pointing out that when they saw Skull and Bones, it looked far too arcadey for them. Right? Like the controls, the shooting, the maneuvering, everything feels super arcadey in the footage we saw. And you know what? It's the same in Black Flag. Black Flag is super arcadey. Nothing is really realistic here. The maneuvering, the shooting, like it's all just fun and arcade stuff. And you know what? It feels amazing. It feels good. Like the combat feels really active. There's a lot of stuff going on. It needs a lot of skill from the player. And it just feels right. And that's good. So if they can actually transfer that to Skull and Bones, I really have some high hopes for the game. Because that was definitely one of the things which a lot of people will remember when it comes to Black Flag. The ship battles and how good they were. And I just realized also by playing the ship combat how much more is possible. Because let's be real here, the amount of weapons you have available for your ship is, I think you have like 5 different weapons and you have only one ship. That's it. So Skull and Bones is definitely building on that and is giving you more options. And I'm looking forward to that. Now, another thing I have been seeing and people have been pointing out, which they got really annoyed by, is the boarding, right? They took the boarding away from us. Man, the boarding was one of the most fun parts in the game, and now we don't have that anymore. That sucks so much. Well, I thought so too, till I actually did some boarding again in Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Especially when you have like multiple ships to board at the same time, it becomes kind of annoying and not that interesting. You can see it here right now where I'm just going to my hand cannon and then clean the boat, pick it clean, and I don't even have to do the boarding most of the time anymore, besides of the bigger ships. But yeah, like the moment when you have to board multiple ships, it becomes a little bit annoying, and I'm sometimes just opting in for the option to sink those ships if they don't have that many interesting materials, and then just be done with it, right? Because when you have to board multiple ships one after one after one, and you are still in a fight, it gets in the way. It actually gets in the way, and then you still have this annoying cutscene, which you cannot skip. But I remembered the boarding was far more interesting than it actually was in the end. And another thing which I finally realized why the boarding is not in Skull and Bones is because when you are boarding an enemy ship, your ship becomes immune to everything. Like it basically becomes like a ghost ship, and all the enemies will just start to ignore that. And it only works because it's a single player game. Skull and Bones is not a single player game. It's a live service game. It's an online game. And well, they could do something similar to NPCs, but they definitely cannot do the same thing in PvP fights, and I think most people would never do the plundering anyways. So, all things considered, it might look like you are losing out on something, and I tend to agree on that, but I can also understand why they have removed it, and maybe we will not miss it. Of course, we have to see it in the grand scheme of things and in gameplay, but I think we will not miss it in the end as much as people remember it, right? You see me, by the way, doing the fishing right now. This was another point. People were pointing out that the fishing in Assassin's Creed Black Flag was pretty cool and they want that back. I have to say, now that I've played it again, it wasn't that exciting. Like, it was cool when you do it like once or twice, and then it's just like, oh, yeah, right, I know what to expect. Like, you were harpooning the fish, and then they will cut the line at some point, and then they will attack you, and then you have to hit them again, and then it's over. Like, there were a lot of mini games in Black Flag which I remembered bigger than they actually were. Right? I'm not saying that they're not fun. That's not my point here. They are fun, but I all remembered it a little bit more grand. The same goes with leaving your ship and going to other islands. There's another thing I've noticing people were pointing out. Well, first, that's a part of the Assassin's Creed series and not really too much about sailing and all that. But most of the islands in Black Flag were just fake islands. Like, you can see them here in the background, right? Those big islands, and there's nowhere that you can go there. Like, they're just there. They're just looking nice, right? And the only places where you can go were like predestined harbors, and you can still do that in Skull and Bones, right? You can still leave your ship in those predestined harbors and do all the things there. And the rest is basically Assassin's Creed. And that's not really what Skull and Bones tries to achieve, right? So there are a lot of things which make sense that they are not there. Again, I don't want to sugarcoat it. I don't want to like make it look like as if Skull and Bones hasn't issues and there are not improvements to be made. That's not my point. But we also remember a lot of features from Assassin's Creed Black Flag very fondly. And they are not as big as you might remember them. But as I said, I would definitely check out Black Flag. Not Black Flag, sorry, Skull and Bones. Names. Skull and Bones. I'm looking low-key forward to it. Like, one of my biggest issues I have with, let's say, Sea of Thieves is that you were getting forced into PvP, whereas Skull and Bones gives you the option if you want to do PvP or not. Like, that is definitely one of the things I'm really looking forward to, and I wanna like utilize a little bit more, because there are moments where I love to do PvP and there are moments where I don't, right? And I want to decide that for myself. And like, that is one of the main reasons why, unfortunately, Sea of Thieves never clicked to me, and I still have that pirate game itch I would like to scratch. So I think there is a pretty good chance that Skull and Bones could scratch that itch, and I'm looking forward to that. But I would definitely be one of the strongest critics when it comes to Ubisoft games and point out the issues. I've always done that, and I will continue to do that. But right now, Skull and Bones has a little bit the benefit of the doubt, and I have to see what the game really has to offer and how long it can captivate you. Because, yes, even though Black Flag had a lot of repetitive stuff in it, the repetitiveness was still nice. It was still fun. And you still like to do it. So if Skull and Bones can capture the whole feeling again, without the boarding and the fighting, of course, but everything else, then I think it could be good. But we will see about that, because this will definitely not be the last video I will make about Skull and Bones. With that said, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you're on your way out, I would appreciate if you leave a like. If you're new to the channel, you want to see more Skull and Bones videos, I'm also doing gaming news, reaction videos, doing some Warhammer 40k and some other guides for other games coming out. I would appreciate if you might subscribe to the ever-growing channel subscribers. I really do appreciate everyone who is subscribing and liking my videos and watching them, of course. Like, thank you very much for the support. It means a lot to me. And again, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.